have Jenna here. Hi, Jenna. How are you doing
Hi,
today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Wonderful. Thanks for taking some
Good.
time out of your busy day to talk. And we're just
You're
going to
welcome.
discuss your journey. You are now how many weeks into your pregnancy?
24.
24 weeks.
24.
Incredible. And we'll learn why that's such a big deal for you. And I will put a little caveat in here right now. I apologize if you hear my baby in the background, but he's doing her thing, but you may hear her. Tell us a little bit about your journey, where that began, and how you got to where you are now.
Sure. So, my husband and I got married at the in the fall of 2016. So I was 36, almost 37, and we knew just because of our ages, we wanted to start trying right away. So in early 2017, we started trying. We were sort of keeping our eye on the clock. By the end of that year, we found out we were pregnant. Unfortunately ended in a miscarriage in February of 2018. So, we took the time that we needed and we started trying again, and we weren't having any luck. So at that point, I was like, okay, almost 39, and it's been a while. We can get pregnant, but it's not happening very often, and we haven't had any luck yet. So I should probably start looking into a fertility specialist. So I got on some wait lists at a couple of local clinics. There aren't very many around us. So it was like a 6-month wait, and figured we would just keep trying. We ended up getting pregnant again shortly before my first consultation. And unfortunately, that also ended in an early miscarriage, like the week before our consultation, actually. So when we started working with fertility clinic, we moved straight to IUIs, and we tried 3 IUIs. They were unsuccessful. So we moved into IVF, had my first retrieval. It was very much a learning experience, completely new world, flying solo kind of feeling, and really was kind of let down by the whole performance. Didn't get, the number of eggs and embryos I wanted. That was just sort of like, now what? So we decided to move into another retrieval. Around that time was when you had posted something on Instagram, and it really like resonated with me. I think it was geared towards women who were 40 and over, and I just turned 40. So I was like, okay,
Right.
this is like a sign that I should connect with Olivia. So then that's about when we started working together. Fast forward, I had a third retrieval in 2020. Also in the summer of 2020, I had a hysteroscopy and laparoscopy to investigate for silent endometriosis, which they did find some mild endo and some adhesions, which they removed. And then in January, February, March of this year, I had back-to-back transfers of the embryos that I had. The first transfer worked, but it ended in a chemical pregnancy, and the second two did not. So we were sort of at just a crossroads of what to do next. That was when I just sort of was like, okay, I'm going to surrender. Just can't really do anything right now except for wait for my follow-up phone call with the fertility clinic, which was scheduled for late May. It was like a 2-month wait. I was like,
Yeah.
let's just dive back into everything that I've learned, focus on mindset, nutrition. And then the day before the phone call with the reproductive endocrinologist, I got a positive pregnancy test. We couldn't be happier, and we feel really lucky.
That's so amazing. Thank you for sharing. And
Yeah, you're
so
welcome.
many ups, so many downs, so much
Yes.
to kind of navigate through there, just the physical, emotional. Now, we started working together. I think you said, was it in
I think it was like May, June was when we like had a consultation.
really a year of working together? And so, what did you find helpful about kind of bringing that other aspect, the nutrition, the mindset, the lifestyle changes? What did you find
Hmm.
helpful bringing that on to your fertility team? I mean, you already had such great help, and with the clinic and getting the IVF and IUI process. What made you kind of take a step back, like you mentioned?
I think that, just over the years, I've been conscious of things about, like cleaner lifestyle, cleaner living. I've really felt like I had a good handle on that. And I had worked with a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner back in the beginning. And she kind of also helped me to, dive into some things early on in our journey, but it didn't necessarily have a fertility focus. So I think once I sort of had my head wrapped around the clinical side of things, kind of knew what that was all about. I knew that there had to be more that I could be doing on like a full total wellness aspect. So I think that connecting with you, connecting with an acupuncturist, and switching my primary care provider over to an osteopath, like all of those things, I think were just, they played a huge role in everything, and they were a great piece to the puzzle. And then, working with you and the focus on fertility, I think was really like kind of like a game changer and sort of up things to that next level, because we could really focus on those hormones that are very important. And the Dutch test really opening up doors to where things were lacking, and then tailoring those foods and the nutrition guidelines to what could help improve my hormone levels was key.
And I'll add in here too. Yeah, she's a beauty counter consultant, and Beauty Counter, as you guys may or may not know, is my number one brand that I recommend for couples on their trying to conceive journey. I'll link to it below. And Jenna came in with a lot of prior knowledge about why lifestyle, why things we put in our body, on our body, why that's so important. She knew a lot of this stuff. She wasn't coming in completely green. And so I think the tools, and you mentioned the Dutch a couple of times, the Dutch, I think, is such a valuable tool to just accompany this already understanding of, okay, yes, why these are important, but having those numbers from Dutch, having that data, do you think that really added another layer? Do you think that really helped bring it a little bit more, I don't know, one-on-one maybe?
I think so too. I think so for sure, because it definitely tailored, like everybody's different. And I'm sure most people who are on the same journey have read the book, like, it starts with the egg, and they have their protocols that have been, assigned to them by their fertility practitioners. And they're great, and great resources and great things to have if you're getting started. But some of that stuff is very generic, take X amount of vitamin D, take X amount of this every day. And sometimes you may not need that, or you may need more. So I think that, or you may have like different sensitivities to things that are recommended, and you wouldn't know that otherwise. So I think that connecting and having that personalized protocol was really important. Even though I had been taking and trying to supplement with vitamin D, we still found that my vitamin D was low, struggling to get it up there. So that, is just one example.
Absolutely. And one thing I love about your journey, Jenna, is you really listen. I think you were pretty amazing. You taught me a lot, even of just
thank you.
like listening to your body, like listening what you think is best. I mean, of course, we talked about diet, and we talked about dietary changes and supplements like we do in the fully functional program based off of your testing. But you even you took it a little bit deeper, and you said, yeah, I hear that, and I like that, but I think also I think nightshades was a big thing for you, right? Or kind of going off some of those.
I tried that. Who knows if that was a help or not, but I figured it can't hurt. And it was something I'd never heard of before.
Right.
You always think like, oh, tomatoes, peppers, and I love them. Like, you think they're good for you, and they can be good for you as long as they're not, causing inflammation. So.
Of course. Yeah.
Another thing that I wanted to add was like all of this type of stuff, these conversations that you and I would have with our one-on-ones, or even if I just wanted to send you a quick email because I had a question, those were things that I couldn't really ask my physicians. I could, but like that wasn't their primary their primary focus was on like the real clinical stuff, where are you in your cycle, those types of things, which is fine. But having that other side, like I said, that wellness side to really focus on everything that's like tailored to me was huge.
You had such a great team. And I want to go back on that, getting that support that you needed. You reached out, you found areas that you need a little support in. So then what was your team like, your fertility team like? Who did that all encompass?
Like I had mentioned, I'd worked with a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner back in the beginning. And that was great. It was a kind of eye-opening to that other world that I didn't really know existed. I actually, I'd found the new primary care physician, the osteopath, which I really, really liked working with. I switched my OB/GYN. I switched to somebody new, and I like that practice a lot better. The first practice I've been going to for years, and it felt very cold, in all honesty. And so I was like, you know what? I kind of feel bad leaving because they're very nice, but something's missing. And I just had to listen to my gut and just move. So I switched. And then I had the fertility clinic with series of doctors and nurse practitioners and clinical team there. So one of the things that I mentioned too is that first retrieval that I did felt very much like I was flying solo. After that retrieval, I was on the phone with a prescription company placing a refill. They asked which clinic I went to, and they said, "Oh, it's a great clinic, and I hear that they have some really great Facebook support groups." I know it's not technically like a team, but I joined all of these groups, and I was a part of all of these support groups. I can't even tell you how many groups that I joined, and it was a huge help because it definitely made me feel less alone, because there were so many women who were going through this. I connected with women who I already knew just in my personal life, but I didn't know they were going through the same journey. So that was nice to connect with folks there. And then I just got lots of advice on other things to try. So I started going to acupuncture, and that's wonderful. So yeah, that's kind of a little.
That's 5+ people on your team, which is amazing. And I think that's really important to point out. I like to point out that yes, functional fertility can be a great help along this journey. It's not the only thing. It's not that we try one thing and then if it doesn't work, well then, we're done and there's no hope for us. There's so many avenues, so many people and resources and groups and practitioners that have a different expertise in different areas. And so
and it's filling those pieces to the puzzle. And like for me, I have generalized anxiety, so this whole process was definitely stressful and anxiety inducing. So having that outlet of the yoga and the support groups on Facebook to sort of help ease any stresses there, that was huge. Those were all key pieces, I think.
So thank you for sharing that. Really great. During these years of trying to conceive, I think you answered that to a large extent. You're dealing with these, having little to no answers and feeling like you had little to no control over things by reaching out, by getting a team behind you. It seems like that was one of your main avenues of handling that. Was there ever a time whenever you needed to just pull back from it all?
As I'm sure everybody knows, it's not only can it be like isolating and a frustrating experience, it can be very overwhelming. So there is a lot out there. People are coming at you with different emails and, join this webinar and I'm doing a presentation on this tonight and follow this and join my blog, all these different things. And it got to a point sometimes where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to do too much. I'm trying to watch every webinar. I'm trying to listen to every podcast, and it can be overwhelming. So that's when I had to sort of, okay, what can I digest comfortably that won't stress me out? And then I just kind of had to filter out everything else. Okay. So I found those key pieces that made me feel good, that gave me answers, and that made me feel comfortable and healthy. And then I had to definitely kind of weed out those other things and say, like, you can't do everything. It's okay to not do everything.
I think that's a very important topic to draw attention to, is the fact that there are so many well-meaning people and programs and things, but it's just information overload. And if it's not for you, if it's not something that is for your specific hormones, your body, your life, then it can just be too much and add to the stress load of it all. And so
you just got to find what's right for you, what works the best. If it's a book, a support group, a certain email list, or a certain practitioner, or a combination of those things, finding those things and kind of filtering out the rest, knowing that information will still be there. Yep. I have so many emails that I've just archived, and if I really want to look back to them, I can find them.
Love that. Yep, absolutely. You decided that instead of continuing to push off this one thing that you really wanted, you just did it anyway. Do you remember what that one thing is?
Was it when we got our second dog?
Yeah. I would tell us a little bit about that. I thought this was a really incredible thing you did just to fill up your cup. You're kind of just over putting it off. And I think this is an important topic too. Like, we can wait and we can postpone things in our life, and we can continue to put things off possibly, for years. And if ever, when we're dealing with infertility struggles, it's important to remember that we need to be in the now that bring us joy. So
my husband and I adopted a dog in late September, and we always knew that we wanted her to have a buddy and a friend, because she was a young dog and very energetic, and we thought it would be great for her to have a pal. So we always kind of kept our eye out on all of the shelters, and, we were looking for a dog, but we didn't have a set time frame. And then a couple months later rolls around and we see this puppy, and we're like, oh, he is so cute. Do we want to get a puppy? Like, that's kind of a lot. We went and we snatched him up. I had my retrieval the next day. We had a lot going on, but it was like, if we'd put it off, it's just, I don't know. It was one of those things where it was like, we knew we wanted another dog, and we knew we found potentially a good one. And if you put things off, it may never be a good time. So
Yeah.
who knows if we ever would have gotten a second dog if we kept like, oh, maybe now's not a right time. We're really busy. We're really busy. And sure, it was busy, and it was, stressful to kind of train a new puppy, but it's all worked out, and we're glad that we did. And we made it through a busy month of like, we made it through.
I just think it's such an important little gem to share. So thank you for shedding light on that. I just love all that you've shared with us, Jenna. And I know it's going to be an inspiration to other people going through their own trying to conceive journey. And if you had just a closing little tip, what do you think that would be for those on a journey, maybe similar to yours?
I would say trust your gut. If you feel like you need more care other than what you're getting just in a standard medical practice, then check out other options. Try different practitioners, whether it is working with someone like you, Olivia, or acupuncture, or definitely check out those avenues and find out what works best for you, because it's definitely I think all of it has played like a really huge role in getting us here.
Love it. Advocate for yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it might take a retrieval, or it may take a small step in the process to sort of figure that out, because like once you go through it, you're like, okay, here's what I kind of wish had happened that first time around.
Very insightful. Love
Yep.
that. Thank you, Jenna. And thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time, and congratulations again.
Thank
And
you.
we'll be talking over on your membership program that you're
Yes,
now
I'm
in.
so glad you offer that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you again for spending time with
Thanks.
us.